Hey, hey, you guys. Lots going on. A lot is going on out there. Kim, we're trying to elevate and empower, and then we're constantly getting so many things coming in, so much scoop coming in
What are we
that,
talking about today?
woo, you know, Kanye just seems to bring so much attention, so
Now,
much attention to the
is
media,
it
so much.
Kanye or is it Yay or is
Yay,
it
that's
Yeast?
right. We don't know, do we? Oh, wait. But for our new listeners out there, this is Kim and Gilia. We elevate and empower. We try to give you the tools to live your best life. And of course, we're doing real talk. And so when we do real talk, we like to talk about what's really going on. And everybody's talking about Kanye. Yay. I
Yay.
I gotta figure
We
him.
used to love Kanye.
I gotta
We don't
figure
love Yay. We don't love Yay.
hey, Kim, I want to say, and I don't know if I'm going to get challenged, but I feel like I shouldn't. I want to say that can we understand the place that he's in? I know it's a lot. I know he is giving us a lot of material,
Right.
but losing your mom.
Well, let's first because your background is in therapy and psychology. So I know this is going to go deep. But
Mm,
let's first for the listeners talk about what is going on with him, and then I want you to talk about him, why he's in this predicament as far as losing his mother, maybe mental health issues,
mm.
grief. But what is in the news? Let's talk
Okay, but
about
you know
that
what?
first.
And that's the juicy stuff. That's the yeah in the news. Can we just for maybe some people that don't know much about him, can we just give them some meat behind Kanye, like who he is? That his mother, Donda West, she was an English college professor. His father was formerly a Black Panther, Ray West, and he also was a photographer at the Atlanta Journal Constitution. He's still here. His mother passed in 2007, but his father is still here at 75 years old. He was born in Atlanta, but at the time he was 3 years old, his parents divorced, right? And they moved to Chicago, Illinois, right? So he lived in a middle class neighborhood. And even at the age of 3, he was very creative. He liked music and art, right? So he came from a very, you know, humble or an educated background. He even came, I don't know if you know, he even lived in China with his mom when he was 10
Mhm.
years old. Like,
She was a
so,
professor, right?
yeah. And if you want to so curiosity in terms of or being intrigued of why he's such a deep thinker or just off the cuff a lot. I feel like he came from such an educated family and then also a very militant side, with his father being a part of the Black, Panther, formerly. So
Well,
I
hold
wanted
hold
to
on.
kind of talk about
Yeah,
his.
I understand the background, but for listeners who don't know much about Kanye West or why we're even talking about him, why is this such
How
a
could you not
surprise?
know? How could you not
Well,
know? You
there's
don't know it's
people,
Ye? You know who
yeah,
Ye? Yeah,
there's people
yeah.
that don't know who he is,
It's not Ice
right?
Cube. Yeah, yeah.
Like I don't know a lot of other people in different genres or people artists from different countries. And so
When
I think
your wife goes on the Grammys naked, you know who Ye is.
let's talk about why we're talking about him. Like you said, having your wife go on the Grammy red carpet naked, right? Today I just read an article that he says that he's her master, and it might be like a sub dom thing, but still very weird.
Yeah.
Um, he's in a big custody battle with his
Yes.
ex-wife, Kim
Kim
Kardashian,
Kardashian.
who's a
The
big
Kardashian.
media
Yeah.
influencer. He actually called them the Kardashian mob is keeping me away from my kids. Now, I as a mother understand why Kim Kardashian
Well, he's not
would be
getting the accountability.
would be keeping her kids from him because I think you had said you had told me that he doesn't he wear like swastikas.
Oh my gosh. And just
Um,
the,
he wore the
anti-Semitic
Great American.
rhetoric. Yes.
Yeah.
The rhetoric.
The oh, he said black people chose to be enslaved. He said black people should vote for
He
Donald
got
Trump.
issues with the Jews. If
Yeah.
Adidas drops you, come on.
Well, and the latest thing is that he came out, a few days ago, saying
Wait a
that
minute, wait. I'm sorry. That was kind of, he came out.
There was no pun intended, but he did come out. He came out to news outlets saying that he had sexual sexual relations with his male cousin. Oh yeah. Well, no, I think sexual relations with his male cousin when they were children, and he was the older child.
I was going to say, because the cousin, male child being 6, he was older. Right. I would wouldn't you consider that
abuse?
What did you want to call it last time? There's a word for that, you said, but we just have to be careful. I would consider that.
I don't think it's considered like PDF because he was also a child. I don't know.
Yeah, but if you're the older child.
Yeah, but I think the definition is an adult having sexual relations with a child. I don't know if it's 2 children, even though it still can be abuse. I don't think a child having sexual relations with another child is considered being a pedo.
Yeah, and there's a lot centered around that, and we don't really know the particulars, but we know that his cousin is now in prison.
I don't want to know
serving 2 life sentences for murdering a pregnant mother. So so that he's right, and the rhetoric that Kanye used is he was upset that we wouldn't look at nasty magazines together. Like that doesn't make any sense, but it came out of Kanye's mouth, right?
Right. And now being an adult reflecting back on that situation, he's still like, whatever.
Why?
And there's
one
more thing. Well, one more thing we're going to talk about is a few days after he came out talking about his cousin and the abuse that he inflicted upon his cousin, it was also announced that he had sexual relations with Jeffree Star, who is a famous makeup artist and influencer. Who also, I don't think Jeffree Star is trans, but Jeffree Star does wear makeup, wigs, women's clothing. So people were like,
what are we doing?
So all this come out.
What are we doing? What are we doing? What does all this mean? Why are we receiving?
I just found out today. He's gonna drop a new album, or he already did, called Donda. So maybe
who told him the marketing was good with that? Who said the marketing was good? Oh, let's talk about the inappropriate relationship with your 6-year-old cousin. That's marketing for you. Everybody's gonna run out and buy that.
And saying that you've also had this relationship with a man while you were married to a woman.
I thought, let me just say this. I worried at first about his relationship and marriage to Kim Kardashian, right? Because of what comes with that family, right? Just so much controversy, media attention.
Every man that gets with them.
Yeah, right.
Their demise is imminent.
Yeah, I worried, and probably I worried for a good reason, but we'll get to that later. But then I was like, oh man, she really loves him, and this is going to be okay. This is a good relationship for him. Until I learned more.
We thought,
yes,
that he was very controlling, and
because not every partner. Let me just say this: a partner can make you better or make you, let me do it this way: a partner can rise you or make you fall. You can rise or fall depending on who you decide to partner with, right? So I thought,
and have kids with.
Yes,
and have kids with.
Yes,
they say be careful who you have kids with.
Yes, when he first got it, I was like, oh, the fall. And then I started watching relationships. I was like, okay, he's gonna rise. But then as more and more I kept looking at things, and only because of the loss of his mother, and then all the controversy with the Kardashians, I was just like, not a good partnership, not for someone that's not moving mentally healthy. He's
Right,
not
right.
moving, because you got to think about it, from, like like a health standpoint. I mean, in 2016, he was diagnosed with bipolar.
Oh, I
So
didn't know he was diagnosed. Okay.
yeah, so it's something that you think that has been a part of his life, all his life, right? And just like with anything, things, stress and things you go through in your life can bring those out. You may can manage it without meds and all that kind of stuff your whole life, but then you get into a stressful situation, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, what's happening? Where are all these manic highs and these depression
Yes.
lows coming from? Because that's his symptom, for the bipolar diagnosis, is he has
And you don't
depression
think he's
lows.
medicated?
And yeah, I don't think that he's taking his medication. I
Yeah.
don't know. Allegedly, I hear things to this social. I want to say allegedly, but given the fact of how he moves, you wonder. He then wants to refute the bipolar diagnosis and say, "No, I'm just autistic. What you're doing to me is not autistic behavior." But
I
I
know
think
that.
that you would think that he's shining a better light on what's happening with him from a mental standpoint. And let's not forget, because when we think about these twists and turns he takes us, he was in a fatal car accident, almost fatal car accident in 2002, where he had to get his jaw reconstructed, and then his larynx was crushed, and he had to get that rebuilt. So he was kind of out of the music game for a minute. He was behind the scenes. So what you don't know what else happened in that accident. You know how you bump around, you hit your head, and
Oh,
things.
that's I
So
never thought about that.
yeah, and if you don't
But
go
it
get
seemed like
checked,
he was fine for decades after that accident, though.
I mean, you
But I guess
know,
like CTE, like the football. I don't know what CTE stands for, but something with concussions where your brain hits your skull, and maybe I never
like
thought about
central
that.
trauma. Yeah. Yeah,
Leave in the comments what
but
CT is. We don't
yeah,
know
right. That'd
what it
be
stands for.
awesome. Yeah, I was like throwing something out, central trauma. Like,
Oh, you
um,
might be right. I don't know.
yeah, you can't. I don't want to say you can't. It's very difficult to have so many different trauma events happen to you. Because the almost fatal car accident happened in 2002. His mom passes away in 2007, and then he's diagnosed in 2016. Like,
The
so,
divorce.
yeah,
But hold on, let me stop you right there. We all go through trauma. Literally every single person on this earth. I'm not walking around with swastikas. I'm not walking around telling people that Black people were enslaved. I'm not walking around. Today, he said something like the Kardashians, along with Hollywood and Disney, I think, were selectively breeding Black people so they could market to Black people. But I was like, but Kanye, you also help breed these Black kids.
see that there
We all
has
have
to be.
trauma, but we don't all act in very inappropriate ways.
The switch is off. Okay. So can we, if we look at time, right? Can we say things went awry after 2007?
Was that when his mom passed?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so. I
Yeah,
think so.
because he
Yeah.
married Kim Kardashian in 2014, and then they got divorced in 2022, because of behavioral and personality differences. Right? We
Yeah.
know. We know. Yeah.
Now we know.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then in 2022, he picks up Bianca Censori, right? Who he
Who
allowed.
looks alarmingly like Kim Kardashian.
Thank you. Which I can't understand. I'm sorry, listeners. I have to backtrack. How do you let a man have you come to a Grammys with nothing? Now, I did like the fur coat, but how can you,
The fur
that
coat
fur
was nice.
coat, yeah. How do you let, like, and then you
Yeah,
have a
look at me.
crown?
This.
No,
Same thing
there's
we
not
talked
enough.
about with Shannon Sharp and the 19-year-old. Honey,
There's not enough money. I mean,
for you.
granted, I don't look like Bianca, so I'm definitely not gonna get up there and be like, look from behind. Well, now look in the front. Who does, like, you got people out the crowds, and it's on television. Like,
Did you
how
see her
many?
face?
Yes, they blacked out. They did a little blackout blotch over all the private. There's just not enough money or love in this world for me to humiliate myself. Maybe she doesn't think it's, maybe she loves her body that well that I don't know. That's I was
Well,
surprised.
and I said, did you look at her face? Because it looked, she did not look happy. She did not look happy
You
to be
don't
there.
do it. You don't do
But
it.
but I think, and this is my opinion, and I guess a lot of other people's, when someone has control over every aspect of your life, you can't say no. To me, these are symptoms of abuse. She's an abused woman. I said it. I said it.
And
I don't
that's
think she did that on her free will.
so we
Because
need
once
to
again,
find
did you
more.
see her face? She did
Okay.
not look like, you could see them talking and he would say something and she was like, and then she slept. She wasn't like, oh,
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That is true.
what's the movie
What
Boomerang?
is yeah,
And
but yeah.
remember Grace Jones? And she was like, oh, Jay, yes,
Okay.
yes.
You're like,
That was not Bianca. She was like, okay,
I like
I'll take
that.
off the coat so the world can see me naked because for some reason this gets you off.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
I'll get in trouble if I don't do it. Yeah.
See, then I'd like to dive more into her life and what has happened, where she's come from to allow her to make a decision.
So, well, hold on real quick before you dive any deeper. I want to tell the listeners, look up the clip of Grace Jones and Stranger when she takes off her clothes. But
I wish
that's what
we had it. I wish we
we're,
had.
if you haven't seen the movie Boomerang, look that up and the Grace Jones clip, and then you'll be like, oh, that's what they were talking about. Yeah.
Exactly. Please look that up. You're like, no, we're not going to get that perfume. Yeah,
Well,
that.
this is the thing. Like Kanye West, chose her not only because I think she looks like Kim Kardashian, but because
Yeah.
he
Yep.
could bully her. A younger. We talked about this with Shannon Sharp. I don't know how old she is, but she's definitely younger
Yeah,
than
yeah.
him.
Oh yeah.
And he has more power than her, and he has more money than her. Exactly what we talked about in the Shannon Sharp situation, and what we're going to talk about soon with yeah.
Wait, say the name.
Well, I was going to bring up another. I was going to bring up Bill Belichick and his girlfriend, but that's the exact opposite because she seems like she has the power. But
Now
that's
I
a
was going
different.
to say, I was like, wait a minute. She actually had a. We're not going to talk
Yeah,
about.
that's a different show.
We're not going to talk about this.
But typically, the person with more money, the person that's older, usually a man, because men have more power in this world because of patriarchy. More
Well, it
money.
depends. Depends. You haven't been
No,
with me. You get with
no.
me, you got no power.
But this is patriarchy.
Okay.
We're talking about a
Stand
system
down.
on how the
Stand down.
world.
I'll stand
Yeah,
down. Okay.
yeah.
I was about to rear up like.
But like I said, typically the person that's older, the person that has more money, and the person that has more power controls the relationship. And that is Kanye West and his current wife to a T. That was Kanye West with Kim Kardashian until she started making more money and getting more fame because of him.
So that's what it is. Why I'm controlling all my relationships because I have all the fame, the money. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Because think about it. Let me make we're gonna veer off a little bit here, listeners. If you not you, but anyone, if you worked at McDonald's making $17 an hour, you most likely are not going to have power and control over someone that's a CEO of their own company making $1 million, no matter the gender. You're not going to have more power.
True.
Maybe
Well,
in
and
the
it's sad
bedroom
that
you'll have more power, but not in life. That
that's sad
McDonald's
that
worker
you get
making
extorted.
$17 an hour is not going to be able to boss around their partner, their husband, their wife, their girlfriend, their boyfriend, to the extent of Kanye West telling his wife, take your clothes off in front of the world.
Yeah, see that, and then it's bad that dynamic works like this in the world. Is that you can get extorted just because you have less power. You're a McDonald's employee, and you happen to be dating a CEO in corporate America, and you get extorted or bossed around or treated any kind of way.
That's how the world works.
That is so sad. It's got, me. There has to be a change, and the change has to be in you as a person that you don't allow yourself. You know. to be
I
treated
agree.
any kind of way. Yeah.
And there's so many dynamics with that, which is why Kanye West has been able to get away with everything he's done. I hear a lot of people online saying Kanye West should be in a conservatorship. Think of the women stars that
I
are Wendy
yeah.
Williams, Britney
Yeah. And she
Spears.
shouldn't be. Yeah.
Why isn't Kanye West, one thing, he's a man. Like, why isn't he in these
Yeah.
same conservatorships as these two women?
I am angry that Wendy Williams is in conservatorship, right? I am angry because I don't believe she needed to be. And I think there's something they're not telling us that has to do with her husband, how that happened. But I'm not going to lead you down. I'm very deep and I'm like,
I would
there's
love to
more
talk
to it,
about
right?
that. I would
Just
love
like
to
there's
talk about
more
that.
to the, Shador Sanders than what really meets the eye on that. So I
Right.
won't dive down into that. We'll let Umar do a lot of that because he does. But
Dr. Umar.
yeah,
But you and I have said on the show so many times, we only get a sliver
true.
of what Hollywood and the music industry is doing. But even on just a regular basis, you don't know what is going on behind closed doors at your neighbor's house.
Oh, absolutely.
You have no idea how much crazy are they swingers?
Right. Yeah, you
Do
don't.
they kick the dog? Are they embezzling funds? Like they look like nice people. We don't know, but we don't know. And Hollywood is just amplified. We have no idea what's going on behind the
But
scenes.
what I do feel, whether it's a good relationship or not, because of the dynamics, I do feel that Kim Kardashian really did love him.
I don't know.
I think she really tried.
I don't.
She didn't need
For
him.
me
She's
at
got
this
her own.
point, I don't know because the Kardashians are really good at what they do, and they use people to get to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying she didn't love him,
Right.
but her and her family and her mother in particular are very strategic, which we can probably all learn from.
Right.
But
Oh, yeah.
they are very strategic about who enters their life to get them to the next level. And at the time, Kanye West was a much bigger star than her, had much more money than
Yeah,
her.
true.
And now look who has the money and the fame and the power on his level, if not more. Probably not more, but
I,
equal. Because he
I,
changed her style. He got her invited to the Met Gala when Anna Wintour, who runs it, the editor of Vogue, was like, a Kardashian will never rock this one runway. Kanye opened the door for the entire family to have more success,
Kim,
more credibility.
if he hadn't gone insane, do you realize what he could have control of, where he could go
Well, and think about
if
it
he
though,
wasn't so insane?
but he's still there. Like he hasn't been knocked off. He just came out with a new
Well,
album. People still stream the songs. He's not a conservatorship. He's making so much money. He's
yeah,
still
but I feel like
very
he's falling
famous.
from an imagery standpoint.
Well, that's
So
true.
not from
That's
a
true.
financial standpoint, from an
Yeah.
imagery standpoint. So how long can you fall from an imagery standpoint and then it affects you financially?
Well, and things have already impacted him financially. But listen to this. I heard a comment or I read a comment that said Kanye West is all of this is being exposed right now with the Jeffree Star, the makeup artist, who is also said to be racist. And this history with his cousin, because the Diddy trial was coming up and he wants to
Oh,
be able to say it. He doesn't want all that to come out in trial. And then people like, Kanye.
oh, so do you think that's why he's now talking about his cousin too? So in case anything comes out, like,
And Jeffree Star, the male makeup artist who dresses like a woman.
right. So all those, like, well, I'm thinking that too, like I had these encounters. So if anything comes out in the Diddy trial that I did do some things, you've already come out front and said I did these other things. So when you hear anything in the trial, you'll be like, well, I'm not surprised because hey, we've
Already
heard
heard it.
about artists, we heard about your cousin.
Right. Oh, and by the way, I'm dropping an album tomorrow.
Right, right. Go out and get it now. And the lyrics about my cousins in there. Oh, go get it.
Once again, if this was anyone else except for the artist formerly known as Kanye West, because I think he goes by Ye now or Yeezus.
Only Prince could do that. Okay, only Prince.
Right, right. Well,
I mean,
he's
it's
up
almost
there.
like he's trying to be
Kanye's
Prince.
pretty.
Wait, so is he trying to be a Prince or Michael Jackson? Because both were very different. Very super talented, made a name and an imprint that no one can follow. But is he trying to be that? Like, I'm your next Prince.
I think actually I watched an interview with him. This was an old interview. It was so funny. I was actually watching YouTube and I was watching motivational interviews, right? About how to be the best, how to be confident, how to build your business, right? It was an entrepreneur motivation video and Kanye West popped up. There were clips of all of these mainly men's, like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan saying how they were the best, right? So someone's interviewing Kanye West and he said, if I wasn't in music, I'd be an NBA star. And I think it was Charlie Rose. The interviewer was like, you couldn't. Kanye West is like, yeah, because I am the best at whatever I put my mind to. And this was when he was young, like in his 20s. So I do think that, the man has confidence, which now has crossed over into arrogance. But yeah, I think he does think he is one of the best to ever live. And he might be. Like, I'm a hip hop head. I don't know. I'm an older hip hop head. I don't know much about Kanye West, but I know people say he's a genius.
No, he is. He is. When it comes to, you think about he's been doing it since 3 years old. Like, it's in him, right?
Oh.
And, his craft with, music and art. It's just like Michael Jackson. They said, have you ever been in the room? This guy's a genius.
Right.
Same thing with Kanye. He flipped that switch. And by the way, listeners, if you're wondering, because I'm in the ATL and it's hot here, why I'm in a sweatshirt, it's a Kanye thing, baby. What's Kanye's?
Does he wear sweatshirts? Oh, he wears the black hoodies all the time.
I just need glasses. Yeah.
And a naked wife beside you in a fur coat.
Hold on. That could be arranged. Hold on. Honey.
For a moment.
I should do that. Get down here. You're on.
Yeah, exactly. You're on. I feel like there's no respect with Kanye and the women that he dates now.
True.
Or is with now. Yeah, because remember Amber Rose said he treated her horribly.
I know. Yeah. She's beautiful. Yeah. She did. I forgot they were together. That's right.
Also, advocate of Donald Trump. I didn't put that together until just now. Kanye West and Amber Rose.
Wait, you said Amber Rose.
Yeah,
I did hear that.
She's an advocate of Trump. She
I did hear that.
One of the conventions. So maybe in the past, maybe that's their connection.
Do you think though? I was looking at Kanye's sweat suit shirt t-shirt with the swastika on it, and it was like I believe it was black and then the white do you think that he's saying if you guys can do it, we can do it too? Do you think there's like another, because he is very creative, right?
Yes.
His mind is different. Like, he makes messages, subliminal messages. He's real good with subliminal messages. So it's just like, we've had to deal with these types of messages, SWAT stickers meaning something different, which is why everybody's in a, uproar. I can do it too. I'm going to switch this on you. And you think that I am meaning it the way that, it has been meant in time. I'm trying to be careful. It's been meant in time, right? Well, I'm letting you know subliminally that no, here's my way of presenting it. It's a black thing, basically. It's a black shirt with a white swastika
Yeah,
on
I
it,
haven't seen that. I would say so. First of all, like the swastika.
or black and
And
white. It's black and white, you know.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
we're
not.
looking at that part of it, right? And what that means. I think he is giving you another meaning to it because of that's how creative genius he is. But we're not,
Maybe
us are not really in-depth thinkers, right? Like critical thinkers
I
to
doubt
say,
it.
what is he doing? And nobody has time for it, right? With what we got going on in the world, we don't have time to say, well, what does he mean by that? Or what, you know what? We just take what we see, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think everybody
Well,
just walks and take. I lived in a 2 year old mind. I've always lived like I tell people that all the time because my mother always said, "You're always saying why." Well, let's just think about why. I don't. I have to understand something. I have to look at it and I go, this. I don't think that means what it's projected to mean. It means this. So I kind of try to look deeper into what someone's really trying to present. So that's what I'm
mhm,
saying. You didn't pick that because you're like that. Your mind is something else. You
it
are such a
is.
critical. You are
I wish I could turn it off
about things.
sometimes.
Right? No, you think about things that you're like, wow. You make people go look stuff up.
Yeah, and I also have to say this is I don't want to say it's recently, but kind of recently. Like I haven't always been like this, right? I used to loving hip hop. No
She's
shade
being
to loving hip
humble.
hop.
She's
I
being
used
humble.
whew,
Yeah,
I used to
it's
watch Love and
beautiful.
Hip
It's
Hop when
beautiful.
Cardi B was on Love and Hip Hop. I was a fan. Now I can't really do Love and Hip Hop anymore, but it was good at that time. I think you bring up a very valid point because the swastika originally was a sign of peace for a different culture, and I can't remember what culture. I think it was an Asian culture. So Hitler and Nazi Germany stole that swastika symbol from a different culture because that symbol, I believe, was a symbol of like peace. I mean, and this is dating way back, but it was stolen. It was
See,
colonized, right?
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Well, but let I'm gonna be like Kanye West. Let me finish. What did he say with Taylor Swift? That's another of the that's when it started.
oh
When
yes.
he was like, hold on,
Oh,
Taylor, let me finish. Beyonce had the
that was
greatest.
at the MTV Music Awards in
Yes.
2009. Yes. Wait a
He
minute.
was
Wait. Let me finish.
like he jumped on stage and stole her
Yes.
moment. Yeah. For
Beyonce is, yeah.
the best yeah.
Yeah.
That I think that's when it started. And also
Yeah.
you remember he during the Katrina, they were doing like fundraising for Katrina, like on TV. And he was with the guy that plays Austin Powers. And deadpan in the camera, he was like, George Bush doesn't care about black people. It's like,
See, he's always he's bringing you to think about things, right? Like I think that we're giving okay, I think we're
well, okay, but
um
let me finish because at first, if that was the
wait,
old Kanye West
okay,
that
wait,
said
Kim.
that,
Wait, before you I want you to add all of your comments together.
okay,
Even with the naked Bianca, Adam and Eve until they ate the apple, we was naked. So he's showing this was originally how we were supposed to be. Why are we looking and we're
but
being ashamed or we're
he
looking
wasn't
like this is
naked.
disgusting?
Why
You know,
wasn't he naked? Why wasn't he naked?
he's making a point. He is the
No, no, no.
artist
If
making
he
a
was
point.
making
This is
if
my
he was
portrait.
making a
This is my point.
yeah, no, no. So let
Now,
me gather all of my comments
yeah,
together.
yes.
If this was the Kanye West that we knew back then with college dropout and that said George Bush doesn't care about, yes, I could understand like the swastika and maybe he's switching it, but no. This Kanye West right now told black people that there was that told the world that black people chose to be enslaved. This is the
Mhm.
man that basically tap dance for Donald Trump, right?
Well, we got some of those out there still. I mean, you can't blame them for that, though.
Exactly.
I mean, you know,
Exactly.
you
This
know.
is the man that has treated women pretty horribly. This is the man that gets on the internet and says some abysmal things about all different types of people,
Yeah,
right?
Jewish. She's really, yeah,
Yeah,
got
so
it right.
the anti-Semitic remarks that he's made in the past leads me to believe that the swastika that he wears today is not the old symbol and he's reclaiming it.
But then he also
Yes.
released, and I don't remember the years, so listeners, sorry, because I try to come with the facts on like point of time to direct you to, but how so many people have done him wrong. So this is his lash out.
People have done you wrong. So many people have done me wrong. Am I out here being anti-Semitic, wearing
We're not
swastika?
Kanye, and we
Where
don't have Kanye money. They
exactly,
ain't,
but
they ain't not
which
caring.
is which is even less of an excuse because I was in a group chat with my sister and my two sons, and we were talking about Kanye West, and I was saying
That's
he's
an
getting
intellectual
he's
room right there.
right. He's
Ooh.
getting dangerous. I said, a man that has been scorned, right? He feels that Kim Kardashian has wronged him, has scorned him.
Yeah, he's
He's
already
getting
hurt
very,
though. He's already
yeah,
hurt.
but
Remember, he lost his
he's
mother, so he ain't really recovered from that. He's still
right.
grieving. Okay.
And a man that is angry and scorn is going to become violent, right? And someone, I said that, and I forget who, but someone in the group chat said, or I think it was Michelle, my sister, your cousin, said that Kanye West has all the resources in the world to get therapy, to
He
heal. There's a
he
lot of
have
us
to
that
want to.
we're not multimillionaires, right? We can't have therapy. We can't get medication.
You,
We can't go on retreats. We can't go to detox centers. He can. So there is no excuse for him to be acting like this because
let,
everyone goes through stuff, but
yeah,
not everyone is able to get the help needed. He has the money to do so.
let me just say, because we this is so good, and we have to wrap it up. And when I say this is really good, we don't want to wrap because there's so much more information. But let me just say one thing I have um, experienced, and in my therapy background, being a family therapist, um, men handle or go through grief losing a mother harder than a female.
Oh, oh,
Men,
no,
men are
no,
they
no.
go off the cusp. They go away. They go. It's like they turn into somebody you don't know. Now I'm coming from.
They
Look,
handle
I'm
it
coming from
differently.
grieving. From
Well,
I
let's
lost
say
my mom 5 years ago.
they
5 years ago.
handle it differently, not worse. You can't tell me that a
Okay, yeah,
man's
yeah.
pain
Okay,
is
okay.
worse
I'll go
than a
with that.
woman's
I'll go
pain.
with that. I'll go
Thank
with
you.
that. I'll go it
Thank you.
differently. Yeah,
Differently.
yeah, yeah,
Differently.
yeah. Like I think because I lost my mom 5 years ago. You lost your mom, and I'm telling you, I feel like I have a open wound every day. I
Every
feel like,
day.
and it's just like it hurts. Like I'm just,
Every day.
and I don't get it closed up. Right? Men like it's almost like they are bipolar, or they turn into a whole new person that they just leave. I always
Well, I
teach.
don't know.
I
I don't
always
know
say to
because
people that when I don't want to be in a conversation, I leave my body. So like people that know me, they know when I actually leave my body, when I just don't want to be, and they're laughing because they're like, she gone, right?
uh,
That's what they do. They leave until one day they come back in years down the line, and then they're like, okay, and we're kind of like wondering what's going on.
mm,
They're back.
there are men that haven't are they are running away from the grief. They
Correct.
haven't gotten therapy, haven't gotten help. And I wouldn't say all men. I haven't
No, I never want to do it
experienced
all.
well, and I haven't even experienced a lot of men that have left their mother that have left their mother, that have lost their mother that I've seen
Oh, it's horrible.
very different from women. I haven't seen that.
See, I have that has
And
just
you know
been.
me. I mean, but let's also look at a case study. What are we talking about? Like 2, 3 people, or are we talking about millions?
I want to. You know
You
what?
know
I am
me, I'm
going to
always going
die.
to ask for data and stats. As a
Yes,
social
yes.
scientist, anthropologist, I'm big on feelings. I'm very woo woo. How do you feel? How
I
does
want
that
to
feel
know.
to you?
Yeah, and I want to know
But I'm
why.
a Gemini, and I'm also like, what are the stats on that? What is the
That's right.
data?
You are a Gemini. That's right. Because I don't know what we're getting, and either you got two personalities. We don't know who's coming. That's
You
right. I
don't know if it's the
forgot. I
fun
keep
Kim
getting.
or
Yeah,
the
right. Yeah,
or the
yeah. You always go like, oh God, I don't know. Hello, who are you?
like, are
Are
you
you Kim or
or
Kimberly?
the
Okay, right. Exactly. Geminis
first.
drive me crazy. Crazy.
That's why I drive you crazy.
Whoa. I'd be like, what is your Gemini? Oh, I'm good.
And,
Yeah, I'm
and
good.
I'm sure you there is a lot of truth to what you're saying that men do handle
Oh, it
grief
is.
differently, but that's still no excuse to ruin
I mean,
other
it's
people's
no
lives.
excuse, but if it is, there, what gotta find out, like, why is that? I'm actually going to, listeners, we're gonna look into that and say,
Oh,
why does that happen?
tell you right now, it's patriarchy. It is the suppression of
She goes to
men's
patriarchy every time.
all that because this world was built on patriarchy, right? It is the suppression. Have you ever heard someone tell a little boy, "Don't cry, suck it up"?
Yeah. But then my mom told me that too.
Well, that's yeah. A
But
lot of
yeah, you
people
do
do,
hear
but
like you're
particularly for men, boys don't cry. Men are allowed to show emotion. I'm sure you've heard men are the logical gender. This is why I say like patriarchy controls that because we hold men to the standard that they are not allowed to have emotions. We are human. Everyone has emotions. Everyone grieves, everyone cries, everyone's happy, everyone's sad. As a human being, as a sentient being, you have emotions. But we
just a
in
bag
this
of
world,
emotion.
right, because we live in patriarchal society that tells men to be strong, and the opposite of strong is showing emotion to them. Like you can cry and be strong. And I think because of that, a lot of men, I think more women go to therapy, more women have emotional intelligence because we're allowed to nurture that. Most men, at least in this country, are not allowed to be emotional. Then the only emotion that they are allowed to show is anger.
Well, yeah, it's also in the Black culture, didn't seek out therapy much. It's changing now.
Every culture, but definitely the Black culture. But
Mhm.
every male culture, you will have, once again, let's go back to the stats and data. Women seek out therapy and help from others more than men because men have been told all of their lives, suck it up, don't cry, don't be a
You
little
the
weak,
man.
don't cry like a girl, you're a man. We don't do this, we don't do that. So of course, when you have a grown man that loses his mother and all of his life he's been told
And
it's bad
think
to
about
grieve, he's not going to grieve. He's going to
when
lash out in other ways, whether that's
and
alcohol, hypersexualization,
Kim, and think about it.
workaholism.
I think how I feel for him um is because I know what that's like. Imagine losing your mom and there was no hint of that being a possibility at that moment. Like,
Yeah,
your mom
me,
is healthy,
me, and Kanye West have all experienced that.
I no, I mean, he's like, you're going through the day, and then all of a sudden, your mom, just from, she had,
Surgery.
cosmetic surgery, and then she had coronary artery disease, right? Just gone just like that. It's not like, and I don't know if maybe something was communicated along the line that there was some kind of weakness in the coronary, area. But just knowing that you're not thinking your mom is going anywhere. Like I said, when my mom, she just cooked. We're laughing, eating. She didn't, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the bathroom," and she's gone. So
I
I
say
don't. You're not.
millions and millions of people throughout history have experienced
They
that,
have, but
myself included.
right, but
And
you don't
I
know the
don't,
just based on
that's not an
relationship.
excuse.
No, based on relationship, you don't know. And if you already have a uh, what I want to say, you're in the DSM-3 book, you have a bipolar disorder, you're going to handle things differently than someone that is pretty good mentally put together pretty good.
I don't think any of us are mentally put together. I
Speak
honestly
for
like,
yourself.
I am, like I always say this, I am not a therapist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a social worker. I'm not a counselor. But I feel, especially now, that everyone probably has something in the DSM, whether it's anxiety. Is anxiety in the DSM?
It is, and I am, I'm OCD, so I'm definitely in there.
OCD, depression, but the amount of anxiety that people experience in this world, like we all have some there. I believe
That's a
there's,
show. You're not going there. We ain't
yeah,
because we've
you're
been
right.
talking about Kanye and they're
Well,
like, what? I
you,
mean, what are we doing?
yeah,
What are we doing? What are we doing?
I
Okay.
I
We're
honestly
gonna
believe that
save that.
everyone has some. I don't think anyone is perfectly mentally healthy. I'll just say that.
And we're gonna do a show on that because we want to know more on
Yeah.
what Kim is
And
saying
so I'm
and
saying
what
Kanye
stats
West
say
doesn't have an
and why that
excuse.
is.
He
Yes.
doesn't have an excuse for this outrageous behavior because he has the resources and the freedom to get help. And it doesn't seem like he is.
Well, he get together. He's gonna keep getting gold diggers. He needs to walk Jesus walk. Jesus
She's
walk.
a gold digger. The way of town. Okay, let me get to his part. I ain't saying she's a gold digger, but she ain't messing with the broke. I ain't saying she's a gold digger. She ain't messing with the broke. Get down, Gilly. Go ahead, get down. I like our music break. We should do that every time.
I know, right? Exactly. All right, you guys.
Audience, please excuse my singing.
We
Get down,
love
get you go
y'all.
ahead,
Yes.
get down,
I can have
get down.
fun. If nothing else, if you were having a bad day, we just lift you up. What do we do? Empower.
And elevate. And we also take requests if you want to hear another song.
Right. Yeah, I think we elevated you. Talk.
All my life I had to fight.
Woo! All right. What they gotta do, Kim? We out.
Oh my goodness. Like this. Follow us, subscribe, leave a comment, leave your favorite Kanye
What y'all
West song.
think? Do y'all think Kanye's just going through something? Are y'all gonna give him a pass? What do you all think that's going on with Kanye? Yeah. What do you think? Come on. They're super talented.
Yeah, super talented.
Yeah. What do you think? Put it
We
in the
want to know.
comments.
And your favorite song by him.
Mm.
And don't even get me started on the gospel album he had. That was genius. Beautiful.
Because he is.
But then he has his wife naked in front of the world.
Well,
okay.
And then think there's always something, a reason of what behind what he's doing. As crazy as it may look to us, there's something behind it that means something bigger, subliminal message. Keep it in mind. Until next time, we'll talk about Shadar Sanders next.
Get down, get down, get down, get down.